Greetings to all of you, wherever you're listening from. I am Commander Bimal Raj, a TEDx speaker, internationally certified trainer and coach, mindset mentor, and a teen and parents coach. In this podcast, The Awkward Talks, I bring you topics that are usually considered taboo or are not discussed freely, but are some of the most pivotal things that we should be talking about. One of the most freeing things that we learn in life is that we don't have to like everyone. And everyone doesn't have to like us, and it's perfectly okay. I have a close friend and she just doesn't like Salman Khan, the actor. When I asked her why, she doesn't even have clarity about why she doesn't like him. Obviously, it doesn't matter to the actor, but this is a universal truth. Even the most beloved of people will have some haters, or at least people who dislike them. We may not be celebrities, but the same applies to us as well. It is normal, but it becomes an issue if you insist that everyone you meet must like you, especially the ones you like a lot. Now, why do we all care so much about people pleasing? Did you know that being liked is actually a fundamental human need, according to Roger Cohen, PhD, a clinical psychologist? He explains in his book, The Need to Be Liked, that our need for social acceptance grew out of our desire to physically survive. See, our ancestors had to build shelter, find food, and defend themselves every single day. It was a lot easier to do it in a team, and to be part of the team, you had to either have a skill that would benefit the group or be liked by the people in the group. Our brains haven't caught up to the fact that we are not defending ourselves from wild animals anymore. So we continue to please people. In other words, we are hardwired to seek acceptance and avoid rejection. The fact is that most of us grow up as people pleasers. No one really tells us that we should always please other people, but we are told that it is important to be aware of what other people think of us and our actions. As a child, the approval from our parents becomes the foundation of our self-worth and self-esteem. This works pretty well as a child because we learn about the so-called appropriate behaviors and responses to others. As we grow up, we carry these traits in us subconsciously because while growing up, there was a lot of importance given to our behaviors rather than our individual personalities. And over time, this becomes a part of our identity. One of the most common lines that we get to hear in many Indian families, especially if we try to do something different from the norm, is "Log kya kahenge," which means "what would people say?" We are so deeply concerned about what other people's perception are about us, what we do, and how we are generally in life. Clinical psychologist Dr. Prerna Kohli says that research has suggested that those who tend to engage in people pleasing are empathetic, thoughtful, and caring on one end, but at the same time they also tend to be more concerned about their image in the eyes of the family, friends, and partners. They set high standards of perfectionism for themselves and may even have poor self-esteem along with even underlying mental health conditions. The fact is that some people will never really understand you or your journey. It doesn't matter how much you explain yourself, how good your intentions are, or how much you try to make things work. There will always be those who are committed to misunderstanding you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Let us try and understand why this happens. We all view the world through our own personal lens. This lens is found based on our life experiences with other people as well as events that happen in our lives. This could be either good or bad. For example, if you have the experience of a friend borrowing money from you but never returning it, you will be wary of anyone asking to borrow money from you in the future, even though they truly intend to return the money. These experiences can create blind spots which would prevent us from understanding the viewpoints of others. Now, some of us can develop and understand a spectrum of viewpoints, but this can happen only if you invest in personal development and are willing to learn and understand that there can be different perspectives to a situation beyond what you may be holding dear. Remember that various perspectives become obvious only when you are made to think about it and if you are willing to approach it with an open mind. There are also those who are mentally rigid and refuse to let go of their colored glasses. For them, the world needs to align precisely with their established beliefs. They are not open to listening, learning, and growing. For them, anything outside their preconceived notions create discomfort, making it difficult for them to adapt and accept. Now, with these people, you can invest all your energy trying to make things work, but your efforts will never be enough. It's a constant struggle because whether consciously or unconsciously, they just don't want to understand you. In fact, they're not even listening to you. To them, disagreements are seen as personal attacks rather than opportunities for an interesting discussion. Any challenge to their established beliefs becomes a threat to their identity. They protect themselves through fight, flight, or fright response. Now, when you come across these people, please remember that they won't like you not because there is something wrong with you, but because they are too committed to the stories that they have made up in their minds about who you are, who you should be, or how you should act. Their ego is too busy projecting their insecurities onto you, holding you responsible for making them feel uncomfortable. To them, you are an aberration, and whatever you say is out of your arrogance or ignorance. Unfortunately, in many societies, women often bear the brunt. They find it difficult to hold on to their personal authenticity in the middle of societal expectations and cultural norms. Let me share a little more about their dilemma. First, social expectations and gender roles. From a young age, many girls are repeatedly told about societal expectations. Whether it is speaking loud, helping with household chores, or even the way they speak is carefully examined, and for the longest time, the only explanation given to the child was "tu ladki hai," means because you are a girl. Imagine a young girl who grows up listening to this retort. She will be constantly under the self-induced pressure of pleasing others and living according to other people's expectations even when they grow up. Next, communication styles. Research suggests that women on average employ a more accommodating communication style. This could again be due to their early age education that they receive from their parents. This could be about how they're expected to accommodate and adjust for other people, or how they're supposed to maintain peace and harmony in a house by being the meek and the soft one between the man and woman. There are many more examples that I can share, but you get the point, right? Next, fear of rejection and criticism. The fear of rejection or criticism can be a powerful motivator. Now, this fear can cause a lot of damage, as the eagerness to please others might stop them from asserting their personal boundaries or opposing views. Now, how does all this affect women? The constant pressure to please everyone can take a toll on women's mental health. Anxiety, stress, and a diminished sense of self-worth may result from the internal conflict between personal needs and societal expectations. I know that times are changing, and I see a lot of parents who do not differentiate between a boy and a girl when it comes to doing things. They don't consider having a boy as the best thing that happened to them and make them feel special, unlike previous generations. Unfortunately, there are still many girls who grow up with these conditions, and educating people is the only way to remove these gender biases. Coming back to the original question, is it really okay if everyone doesn't like you? For that, let us look into some thoughts and establish why it is perfectly normal and okay if other people don't like you. First, isn't it true that you also don't like everyone? Be honest, you also don't like every person you meet, right? Therefore, it is only fair to assume that every person you meet also may not like you always. Why don't you like some people? You may not even be able to pinpoint the reason. You just don't feel right about that person. Now, this brings us to the next point. Does all this make him or her a bad person? No. It's just an indication that you two are not connecting well. Similarly, someone not liking you does not mean that you are a bad person. It is not an attack on your worthiness as a person. So don't take it personally, even if it comes from someone you really like. Next, them not liking you may have nothing to do with you. Like I mentioned earlier, where the person you met reminded you of someone you don't like, the same could be true with them also. It's just because of their history with someone who looks, talks, or behaves like you. Next, everyone is different. Even if you are the most perfect man or woman in the world, there will always be someone who doesn't like the type of person you are. Not because you are flawed or not likable, but because they just don't find your type of personality appealing. Next, the truth is it's impossible to like everyone. The fact is that you have certain likes and dislikes based on your upbringing. You may be particular about body hair or grooming, and you can't stand people who don't match up to your standards. Similarly, there could be other things due to which you may not be able to like other people. Similarly, you may not be likable to someone.
Next, yes, it's true, some people are judgmental and it's okay. We are wired to judge others. The habit is evolutionary roots because it helped us quickly differentiate between friends and foes, which was crucial for our survival. There would be some people who are more judgmental and negative than others. The fact is, even the most open-minded folks judge. So accept the fact that everyone judges one another consciously or subconsciously. And it's okay if someone doesn't like you, it's part of human nature. Next, the harder you try, the less they like you. Being a people pleaser is a one-way road to disappointment. It can sometimes lead you to be used and mistreated by others. Remember that people naturally gravitate towards strong and confident personalities who are comfortable in their own skin. Next, sometimes not being liked by others means you are doing something right. There are many instances when people dislike you just because you are not afraid to live according to your rules. So if people don't like you just because you are genuine and don't shy away from the truth, then chances are you are doing the right thing. Next, the right ones will like you anyways. If you are true to yourself and not trying to hide your personality from others, the right ones will like you. No matter how blunt, aloof or flawed you may seem, people who are the right fit for you will still be interested. Ultimately, having a few good like-minded friends is what matters more than being liked by everyone. Now, what can you do if you are a people pleaser and you face disappointments and rejections from others? First, look at why not having their approval bothers you. Is it only about the fact that this person dislikes you, or do you want them to like you for other reasons, like they're a friend of a friend or they're someone you really admire? Question yourself. When you find out the answers you seek, try to release your need for them to like you, knowing that you are leaving an open space for someone else better suited for you. Next, take back your personal power. When you care too much about what other people think, you hand over control of your own life. You will stop behaving or saying things you normally do because you're afraid that they may not like you. Trust me, it is much more empowering to own your life, thoughts and actions rather than giving it over to other people. Next, practice self-acceptance. When you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, you are able to accept yourself for who you are, and it won't matter what others think. Next, be honest with yourself. Could you be the problem? You may be defensive or antagonistic, and if you are overly negative and critical with others, they may not want to be around you. Being unfriendly and refusing to make eye contact could be sending a message that you have no interest in engaging with others or forming relationships. Next, be grateful. When you practice an attitude of gratitude, you will be able to see how much you have and not the things you don't have. Acknowledging your feelings of gratitude will help you to be at peace with who you are and everything you have to be grateful for. Next, make new friends. If you feel alone and unloved, go out there and meet people. Sometimes as adults, we feel that we don't have enough room in our lives for new friends, but it's always good to widen your social circle and add something or someone new to your life. The compulsive need to be liked in today's world is a phenomenon that has increased multifold with the rise of social media and online interactions. The need to be liked has become even stronger because now people can tap on your picture and share whether they like it or not. I know of people who take down their pictures which has not received the expected number of likes. Social media validation and comparison culture are major issues that need to be addressed. I will be talking about this in a separate podcast. I know for a fact that I am not everybody's cup of tea, and neither are you, and that's more than okay. In fact, that's great because it means we have distinct personalities, original ideas, personal opinions, and our own brands of creativity. Once you make peace with the fact that not everyone is going to like you, you'll be surprised how it feels. It's as if a weight has been lifted off you and you'll feel lighter and freer. If you like this episode, please do rate it. Please click on the follow button so that you don't miss any of our episodes. Do share this with others. There are many who struggle with this issue. This is Commander Bimal Raj and I will be back with another awkward talk soon.